Thanks for watching Lessons in Minutes with Jaylee. Like, share, and don't forget to subscribe.
Welcome to part two of Principles of Accounts multiple choice session. The last session ended at question 38. I'm going to pick up at question 39, and that reads Item 39 refers to the following information: traders list price $400, trade discount is 10%. What is the cost of purchases entered in the ledger? The trade discount is a way of encouraging persons to purchase in bulk, or you might find that a business gives their regular customers discount, a trade discount for doing business with them. And the question is asking you, what is the cost of purchases entered in the ledger? So if the individual is getting 10% discount, it means that they're paying 90% of the cost. So you can multiply 90% of that $400 to get the price that the person would pay. The cost of the purchase is recorded in the ledger, and that is $360. Another way in which you could ascertain this is that you would find the 10% of the 400, which would give you 40, minus that $40 from the 400, and that will still give you $360. Next question. A club treasurer found on closing his books that $50 subscription had been paid in advance. Where would this amount appear? Remember, subscription to a business would be an income. So it therefore means that this is income that is paid in advance. This is not the business money. It is owing this to the members of the club. So therefore, that would be listed among the liabilities on the balance sheet. So your response there is C. Next question is number 41. Joanne Barnett is a dressmaker. She bought 100 meters of material from S. Wright for $100 cash. Which of the following is the correct double entry for this transaction in Barnett's ledger? So the material was purchased. So there's an increase in material that would be a debit entry. And the payment was made. It was a cash transaction. The payment was made. So therefore, our response is debit material and credit cash account. Number 42, a plant valued at 4,000 is depreciated at 10% per annum using the diminishing balance method. What is the value after 2 years? So when it states that it uses the diminishing balance method, they're referring to the reducing balance method. And the first year would be 4,000 multiplied by that 10%, and the asset would decrease by $400. At the end of the first year, the asset, the plant value is 3,600 because it has depreciated by $400. So in calculating the depreciation for the second year, to be 3,600 multiplied by the 10%. Because we're using the reducing balance method, remember, you calculate it on the current value of the asset, and that would give us $360. So to get the value of the plant at the end of the second year, that would be 3,600 minus what it depreciated by for that year, and that would give us $3,240. Moving on to question 43, prime cost is $79,110 and overheads is $4,720. What is the cost of production? So what you're going to do is add your overheads to your prime cost, and that will give you your cost of production. And that response there is D, $83,830. Moving into question 44. A businessman incurred the following expenses: factory repairs, machinery repairs, new machine, new vehicle. And you're asked what was the total capital expenditure. So remember, there are two types of expenditure. We have revenue expenditure and capital expenditure. Revenue expenditure is those expenses incurred during the operation of the business. So the expenses incurred in order for the business to generate an income. And the capital expenditure is the purchase of fixed asset or the addition to the fixed asset. So from this question, the new machine added to the new vehicle would give you the total of 10,000 for capital expenditure. Number 45, to record a credit sale to S. John, which of the following entries must be made? So that is credit sales to S. John, and that would be your sales account will be credited. So credit sales account and debit S. John. So our response there is C, 2 and 3 only. Number 46, this is a manufacturing account question again. From the factory expenses given in the above table, what is the productive cost of goods manufactured? And everything right here relates to calculating the cost of goods manufactured. So you're going to add everything to the cost of raw materials in order to get your cost of goods manufactured. So you're going to add up everything. So the manufacturing wages, there is a direct cost added to your cost of raw materials. All these other items, except royalties, are indirect, which are factory overheads. Royalties is a direct cost. So having added everything together, your response is $40,000. Number 47, B Black purchased goods for $400 and received 10% discount. Later, he returned goods worth $100. Because they were faulty, how much did he receive for the goods returned? At the time of the purchase, there was a 10% discount that was given. So if he's returning $100 worth of goods, what he would get in return would be that 100 times the 10%, which would have given you the discount, and then you minus that $10 from the 100, and your response is $90. Apart from going through that long explanation, if it is that the discount is 10%, it means that 90% of the cost is what he would receive. So 90% of $100 will give you $90. Number 48, closing stock at year end was not calculated correctly. Which of the following will be affected? Closing stock is used to ascertain your cost of sales. It is used to ascertain your gross profit, and it is also used in your balance sheet in order to generate your working capital. So therefore, the response is 1, 2, and 4, which is C. Number 49, the book of original entry used to record the purchase of fixed assets on credit is the general journal. Remember, the sales journal is used to record goods sold on credit. Purchases journal is used to record goods purchased on credit, and return inwards is used to record the goods that are returned to the business by its customer. Number 50 and 51 refer to the following information taken from the books of Sheridas Limited, and you're asked to calculate working capital of Sheridas Limited. Now, based on information, in order for you to get your working capital, that would be your current asset minus your current liabilities. Your current assets are cash and prepaid insurance, which give you a total of 3,800. And from that, you're going to minus your current liability, which is 200 plus the 1,200 right there, and the 400, that would give you 1,800. So 3,800 minus 1,800 give you a result of 2,000. So working capital there is 2,000. What is the current ratio of Sheridas Limited? In order for you to calculate current ratio, it is current asset divided by your current liabilities. So that would be 3,800 divided by 1,800, and that give you a result of 2.1 to 1. Remember, your current ratio is expressed to 1. Likewise, your acid test ratio. Which of the following is the correct entry when a debtor is unlikely to pay off is debt. So if a debtor is unlikely to pay off his debt, it is sure that the person is not going to pay, right? So it is highly likely that the person is not going to pay. So therefore, you would have to debit your bad debts account and credit the debtor's account. So C is your response. Number 53 is suspense account showed a debit balance. Which of the following could have given rise to such a balance? So it means that your suspense account is reflecting a debit, meaning that based on the books, your trial balance, your credit side would be more than your debit in order for you to have a debit balance in your suspense account. From the list of items right there, it's basically asking you what item would give rise to your credit and have your debit falls below in order for you to have a debit balance in your suspense account. And that is A, the discount received was overcast in the cash book. Number 54, John Smith is employed at $8 per hour. He is paid time and a half for hours of work in excess of 44 hours per week. So the basic hours per week there is 44 hours. Last week, he worked 50 hours. What were his gross earnings? In order for you to get the gross earnings, you have to calculate his regular pay, which would have been the $8 multiplied by the 44 hours, which is the normal hours, and that would give you $352. The extra 6 hours that were worked, you would have to multiply that by the $8, which is the basic pay per hour, times 1.5, because remember, once there is excess hours, the person is paid at time and a half. So that would give you a result of $72. Your 352, which is the basic pay, added to the 72 give you a total of $424. Number 55, the above table shows how R and H Winsome have combined their interest into a partnership. If interest on capital was agreed at 5%, what is the total amount of interest on capital earned by them? So all they're asking you to do, add up the capital, and you're going to find the interest to be paid out on capital to these partners, and that would be 90,000 multiplied by 5%, and that give you a result of $4,500. Next question, question 56. A bookkeeper by mistake posted $64 to the sales account instead of $54.40. Which of the following entries in the general journal would correct the mistake? So looking at the information, the sales account was overstated. And the fact that it was overstated, it means that you have to find the difference between the two figures and put that on the opposite side of the entry to reduce that. In order to reduce your sales, you would have to debit your sales account and you credit your suspense. So your response there for number 56 is C. Number 57 refers to the following information. Again, this is a manufacturing account question. From the above list of balances, what is the cost of goods produced? In order for you to calculate cost of goods produced, it would be your cost of raw material used, which is 3,000. Add your direct cost, which would be your 5,000 there for the factory wages. Add your indirect costs, which is 3,200, which is the same thing as your factory overhead. Add your opening work in progress less your closing work in progress, and that would give you a result of $11,100 as your response. So that is C. Number 58 refers to the following information taken from the manufacturing account. what is the cost of raw materials consumed? In order for you to get prime cost, you would have to add your manufacturing wages, which is your direct cost, to your cost of raw material consumed. So what you're going to do is to solve to find the missing item. So that would be the 29,950 minus, you're going to take back off that manufacturing wages of 22,000, and that would give you the cost of raw material used, which is $7,950. We're going to move into question 59, and it reads, which of the following statements describe the purpose of accounting? Keeping proper records of business transaction, yes. Keeping proper control of the finances of a business. Assisting management in making decisions. Using the transaction, the accounting transaction, to make proper decisions. You can't use the accounting transactions to make proper decisions. So it therefore means that your response is 1, 2, and 3. Number 60. The purchase of a motor van on credit from Things Caricom Motors Company for use in the business should be recorded as, and this is showing an increase in the motor van, so therefore you're going to debit the motor van account, and you are going to credit Things Caricom Motors Company. So debit motor van, and that is D, and credit Things Caricom Motors Company. We could not use purchases because it stated that the motor van was purchased to be used in the business, hence it is a fixed asset. Green and Henry are partners using fixed capital accounts. Green withdrew stocks from the business for his private use. How should this be accounted for in the books? Because it's fixed capital, it means that they're maintaining a current account. And the withdrawal from the business is going to decrease a person's current account. So therefore, you're going to debit current account and credit purchases. So your response there is C. Moving into 62. Because of an error in posting, the purchases account was understated by $100 in respect of goods purchased on credit. What are the journal entries necessary to correct this error? And you would have to debit your purchases because it was understated. Remember, once the account is understated, you're going to put that understated value on the original side of the entry. So in this case, we need to increase our purchases, and that is we debit our purchases and we are going to credit our suppliers account. So 62, there is B. Number 63. Item 63 refers to the following information, and from that, you're asked what will be the cost of goods sold. For you to calculate cost of goods sold based on information that we have right here, that would be your purchases, add your carriage inwards, less your closing stock, and your response there is B, $3,745. Number 64, and this is petty cash book. A business operates its petty cash on the impress system. At the beginning of the month, the petty cashier was given $200, out of which she spent $152. How much will she be reimbursed? So the petty cashier is operating using a float of $200. And for the period, she had spent 152. You need to get this float back to what, to 200. So therefore, you're going to give her back all of what was spent, which was $152. You don't want the float to be under or over. Number 65. Mr. Harry, a grocer, bought a typewriter on credit from Tan Company. Which of the following journal entries will be made for this transaction in Mr. Harry's book? So the typewriter is a fixed asset that was purchased on credit. So therefore, you're going to debit typewriter and credit Tan Company. Number 60, Mr. Henry's books disclose the following details, and you are asked, what is the cost of goods sold? In order for you to get cost of goods sold, we have opening stock. We're going to add our purchases to that. We're going to less our return outwards, which is returns on purchases. We're going to subtract closing stock as well. And our response, therefore, number 66 is A, which is $3,030. Moving on to 67, an item of $50 for goods sold to El Ari was posted from the sales journal to the credit of El Ari's account. The account of debtors in the balance sheet will be understated by that $50. So because the debtors account was credited instead of debited, it's going to cause a reduction in the debtors. So therefore, that is an understated amount. Which of the following are nominal accounts? Nominal accounts there, based on the responses, we have wages and rents. Number 69, the assets in the balance sheet of a sole trader are listed in order of permanence. So you go by way of showing the item that would stay in the business the longest to the least permanent item. Which of the following is not classified as direct material? And that would be the fuel oil for furniture workshop engine. Item 71 refers to the extract from the records of a business shown below. According to the information given above, the resulting position is A. What you're going to use to determine whether there's a profit or loss, and the amount is your finance by section or the equation that you use to ascertain your new capital, which is your closing capital. And that is opening capital, add additional capital, add your profit, less your drawings, and that would give you your closing capital. So based on that information that we have, when we substitute to find the missing figure, we have profit of $800. Invoices sent to customers are entered in the sales journal, because once you send the invoice to the customer, it is basically saying that the person had purchased goods from you on credit. Or you could read it like this: goods were sold on credit to the customer. And that takes us to the end of part 2, looking at some principles of accounts, multiple choice question.
Like, share, and don't forget to subscribe.